I'm 29 years old and I'm currently unemployed. What is up, you guys? My name is Jasmine and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about starting over at the ripe age of 29. When you had a life plan for yourself, you thought you were going to be accomplishing different things at this age and things just don't work out the way that you thought that they would. So let's start at the beginning. When I was little, I was always interested in fashion, as you can see, okay, period. I always wanted to work in fashion. Originally, I wanted to be a fashion designer. No job I've had has ever been in fashion. The pandemic had happened. 2020 happened, and it was like around that time where I was like, okay, if I want to work in fashion, I really need to push myself. Like, I need to start using LinkedIn more and start really making connections with people and really put myself out there to try and make this happen. Since it was during the pandemic, everybody was on LinkedIn, so I was getting to be able to connect with a lot of people, which is really, really cool. And so I felt like I was gaining some momentum with connecting with people. Connected with some people at Ralph Lauren, at Stuart Weitzman, some at a brand called Lively, and a few other brands. I'm at a job offer from a brand, but they were offering me a less of a salary than I was making at my current job. And also too, the job was in New York. So I was like, okay, I would have to move and I have to live on less money being in New York than I'm making living in DC. No. I was like, that's a no-go. I can't do that. And I tried to negotiate to get a higher salary, but they were not going for it, so I had to turn it down. So I just kept chugging along, trying to connect with as many people as I could. And I also expanded my search to beauty brands as well. Because I'm fashion and beauty, they go hand in hand. They're still in kind of the same, wavelength. They're definitely different industries, but typically they go hand in hand. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look into beauty as well. So I connected with someone who worked at a beauty brand that eventually became my manager. And so she and I had talked on LinkedIn, and I expressed interest in wanting to pivot careers and everything, and also pivot industries. A few months had gone by, and then I saw that she was hiring for a position. So I sent her a message saying that, hey, that I'm interested in applying for this position. And everything like that. And so I applied. I went through the full interview process. There were some red flags through the interview, just application process in general, that should have tipped me off that maybe you shouldn't work here, but I ignored them. Others, I had a meeting with the head of the department, and then also my team members as well. And I also had a meeting with the VP of the department of the marketing team. I think maybe it was maybe the third interview. And so one of the team members who, is a black woman, she was like, are you sure you want to work here? At first when she said that, I didn't necessarily react to it and be like, why do you say that or anything? Because I was trying to obviously keep it professional and everything. But her saying that, I feel like should have been a tip off. It wasn't a very inclusive environment, which is something I discovered when I started working there, but we're going to get into that. So I was like, yeah, I really want to be able to pivot into more a creative industry and being able to do this in a full-time role and things like that. And kind of spun it that way so I wouldn't just be stuck being So that was kind of the first red flag in the application and interview process. I think it was a few weeks later, that's when I got offered the job. So I got a call from HR. I had a meeting with someone from HR, a Zoom call, and they told me that I had officially got the job, told me what my salary would be, and all these different other, benefits and things like that. I was really excited when I got the job. So I was like, yes, finally, because I had been trying this for 2 years. I started really pursuing wanting to pivot industries for 2 years. I started in 2020. I did not get this job until 2022. It took a long time. Also because we were in a panorama, we were in a pandemic. So I know that's one of the reasons why it took so long. But also too, because I was connecting with and applying to jobs that I didn't live in those areas. So I also think that was kind of a hindering factor as well. Another red flag, this job was not offering relocation assistance, but I was just so dead set on just going and getting out of DC and just pivoting to another job. That I just kind of ignored that. And another red flag was that after I talked to HR on Zoom and I got the role, it took them I think a week and a half to give me my official offer letter. And obviously I couldn't put in a notice to my current job until I got that offer letter because I'm not stupid. I need that offer letter in my hand before I give my job my 2 weeks. The fact that it took so long for them to give it to me and the person kept saying, oh, we sent it to you, I never received it. But looking back on it, I'm like, I feel like God might have been trying to tell me something, that maybe I shouldn't do this. Like there were 4 different signs of like, hey, this might not be the vibe, but I ignored them, and I know why I did. I didn't really realize it at the time, but was just not feeling great about myself and like the type of jobs that I'd had, because I'd seen people that I had gone to school with that had like, they worked at all these like really cool companies, and I hadn't had that. And so I was like, no, I want to be able to work somewhere that's like really, really cool. And then I ended up working for the beauty brand I ended up working for. It was a part of a big luxury conglomerate. So I was like, oh, like this is it. Like, you know, like I felt really good about myself. I'm like, oh my God, I got a job here. I realized I pushed so hard to take that job when there were so many red flags that I shouldn't have, to make myself feel better. And because I felt like I needed that job so I wouldn't feel inadequate, which is like crazy that we associate the type of job we have with, like, whether we're inadequate, whether we're doing enough in life, or whether we're just, you know, it. I felt that way, and so that's why I pushed so hard to like get that job. Even if they weren't offering relocation assistance, like I paid for myself to move there. And at first I thought it was like fate, or maybe that God was working in my favor. Or was making a way for me, I should say. My grandfather had passed away in 2019, and we had sold his house in 2020, and because we co-owned it, side of the family co-owned it with another part of our family. And so they wanted to sell it. We didn't have enough money to buy them out, so we just had to sell the house. And so the share of the money that I had gotten from that, like I used some of that to move me to California. That's where I ended up going. So I left DC and I moved to California. So being able to do this, I was like really excited because I had always dreamed about moving to California. But what's crazy is I dreamed about moving to LA, not to Northern California. And so that was also kind of like a big change as well. Like kind of the thing that I envisioned, I ended up not even doing that thing. Starting out, I felt like the people I worked with was like really, really cool. I felt like there was like one coworker that I gravitated towards the most. And it was a coworker that was like, are you sure you want to work here? Like during the interview process, my sister, yeah. There was one coworker that was like a little strange when I first started working there. Like I just got like a weird vibe from her. And then eventually after I'd been there for a little bit, I asked the woman who I kind of got close with. I was like, did this person want this job like prior to me getting here? Like, yeah, she did. I was like, okay, so that's what this weird energy is from her. Going from DC, from the East Coast to the West Coast, it was very different for me, like inclusivity wise, because from being from the East Coast, from DC was known as Chocolate City. It's not as much Chocolate City anymore. It's like cookies and cream because of gentrification. But I was used to seeing a lot more Black people around. Like even people that I worked with, even that I lived around, like I was used to seeing a lot more Black people. And that was not the case at the brand that I worked at. People of color that worked there, but they weren't Black, and they were all like a fair skin tone. When I was like looking for apartments and stuff to move there, I had toured some apartments in San Francisco. I ultimately decided to live in Oakland because it was Black people there. Like I needed to, if I wasn't gonna work with some melanin, I needed to live near some. So after being there for a while, I realized that this job wasn't what I expected. And I realized that I kind of just like made a rush decision to take it without really understanding like what the role was. The marketing work I was doing at my previous job maybe made up maybe like 2% of my job, but like at this new job it was like 90%, which was like an adjustment for me. Definitely like a huge learning curve. Also too, the role got changed a little bit when I got there as well. Like the role, when I saw the description of what I was going to be doing before working there, the job description changed after being there for like a couple months, which contributed to one of the reasons why I didn't like the job anymore. And then it got into a point where I was like, I don't know if I want to stay here. Like maybe I should like move back home or try to find another job. Like I just wasn't sure. But I kind of had to look at it and be like, okay, I might not like the brand that I'm working for, but this brand is a part of a larger company that I could eventually like go to, like if I do well at this job. So I tried to stick it out. I didn't want to just give up. And so this is also around the time when the lease of my apartment was getting ready to be up. But then I decided to renew it, and I was just like, you know what, I'm a stay and I'm gonna try to work this thing out and just, you know, make the most of it. Like I said before, I realized that the brand wasn't very inclusive, realized there wasn't like a lot of Black people working there, and I didn't know that that would have as much of an effect on me as it did, so I decided to do something about it. So I created a marketing strategy steeped in diversity to basically ways that the brand can really appeal to Black consumers by using like darker skin influencers, collaborating with HBCUs and all types of different things. And also doing like activations of like Black cultural fests like CultureCon, Essence Fest, all those things. I made a very, very detailed marketing strategy. I spent like 3 months on this. I had other people that worked in marketing that I knew look at it. They were also Black. Look at it to, you know, get their feedback. It's like, hey, is there anything else I should include? Like, 'cause I wanted to make sure that this was tight. Okay, I wanted to make sure that if I'm about to be suggesting this, that there's no room for them trying to say like, oh, well, what about this and what about that? Like, no, everything is right here, so there shouldn't be any questions. When I finally like presented this, I kind of did it in stages. So I presented it to my manager and the VP of the marketing team first, and then after that, one of my coworkers suggested that I kind of like nudge the VP of marketing to say, hey, it would be helpful if I could get like the whole US marketing team's help on this as well. So she kind of like pushed it out to them. So I ended up kind of doing that. Like I sent her an email saying it would be like great to, you know, have the US marketing team support to bring this strategy about. And so she ended up sending an email to like all of the heads of like the marketing teams, like social, PR, brand, all that stuff. She sent the email to all of them, CCing me on the email, and included the diversity marketing strategy that I put together. So I kind of went down the line and met with like all of the different teams to kind of give them like their segment of the strategy to try to say, hey, these are some things that could be changed to really like be more inclusive and really connect to like a wider audience. Because also the brand was planning on coming out with a inclusive foundation shade range. I know, very late. They were planning on coming out with it in like a few years. So they had a foundation before, but it was just, apparently it was just trash. Like it was not good at all. And so they discontinued it. So they were planning on coming out with another one that had more inclusive shades. And one of the things that I mentioned when I was bringing this up to like the VP of marketing and even to like our GM that I eventually pitched this to, is that you want to release a more inclusive foundation shade range, which is great. But why would someone want to come to you? NARS has already been doing it. MAC has been doing it a long time. Fenty's already been doing it. Rare Beauty's already been doing it. Like these brands have already been doing this. So it's like, why would people even want to come to you? And also too, you haven't been trying to be inclusive with the products that you already have. So it's like, why are they going to come to you now? And so part of the strategy was making inclusive strides with the products that were currently available prior to the foundation coming out. And so I had done all that. I had like presented to so many different departments. And then after a while, it kind of started to seem like no one was really taking it seriously. It seemed like people kept passing the buck for things. Because I presented to one department. They'd be like, oh, such and such is doing this, or you should reach out to them about that. And like kind of, they were just kind of like passing the buck along. I know they probably saw it as helpful, which it was in a way. It still kind of felt like the buck was being passed. I tried to follow up with people about things. It just kind of seemed like no one was really taking it seriously. That took a big toll on me. Because sometimes I do have like trouble like speaking up for myself and like sharing my opinion about things, which is something that I am working on. Like the Lord is working on me with that, because sometimes I just feel like no one's going to want to listen to what I have to say. Like no, my voice doesn't matter. Like people don't care. And so, but doing that diversity marketing presentation was my first time like, no, like my voice is important. Like I want to share this. Like I see this issue. I see what other brands are doing. They're doing phenomenal things. Like we should be doing this. I had tried to like put that strategy into action for months and it didn't really go anywhere. So then at like a certain point I stopped trying, and which is also really sad because like I said, I presented it to like my manager and my manager's manager. I presented it to like other department heads or like teams within the marketing team. I presented it to our DEI director. I also presented it to our GM and our global marketing team. Like a lot of people saw this presentation. And so, but I feel like it wasn't really a lot of traction happening with some of these initiatives that I suggested. There was a situation that happened where it was like on one of our like team calls, the brand team said that they were going to be doing like a collaboration with the HBCU because of an article they saw that Hypebeast had put out saying that like so many beauty brands are focusing on like the larger HBCUs, but no one's really showing love to like some of the other ones because they're always like, I guess, going to like Hampton and like Howard, Spelman, North Carolina A&T, all that stuff. So the article basically said that, you know, people should, like beauty brands should focus on other colleges as well. When I was in the meeting and I kind of heard that, I was thinking to myself, so you all are collaborating with HBCUs because of an article you saw? I was like, no, I suggested that to you. And so like during that call, like I didn't say anything like during that meeting, and I'm really mad that I didn't, because honestly, I was like mad that I don't know if it would have come out professionally. And so that's something else. I was kind of felt like a gut punch. I was just like, wow. So y'all didn't listen to the idea that I had, but y'all want to cite an article as the reason why you're doing it when I suggested this like months ago. Like, really? It's like, okay, I see how y'all are operating. The whole thing not working out kind of, like I said, that took a really big toll on me and also impacted my work as well at work. There were some things that I kind of like, you know, fell through the cracks, some things that I had kind of like dropped the ball on, or there was like some misunderstandings about things, that some things that I like got blamed for and different things like that. And so I ended up getting put on a performance review, which like really took me down, because I was like, oh my God, like all of this stuff is happening. And then also too, during that time, I was started having issues with my health, because I had gone to the emergency room because it felt like my heart was beating really fast, and I just felt like really anxious, and I had never experienced anything like that before. I went to the emergency room, they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And so there was just like a lot of things happening at that time. And then also too, I was having like issues with like my finances and everything, because I moved to a very expensive city. And even though I had like a nice salary, it still wasn't nice enough to live there like comfortably and be able to, I guess, do normal things I was doing when I lived here at home. It's like job drama, there was health stuff, there was finance stuff, just all like piling onto me at one time, and I fell into a very, very, very deep depression. And once I got put on that performance review, I was like, okay, I definitely don't need to be here anymore, because if this is happening, like, no, I need to leave. So I started looking for like new jobs and everything. But what's weird was every time I looked at a marketing job, it literally made me sick. Like just looking at the application for it, like my stomach would churn. I would be like, ugh. Like, I don't know what it was, but just my body was like physically rejecting the idea of me going to another marketing job, at least at that time. And so I was just like, really, like I need to find another job. There were free jobs that like I thought that I would be able to get, because I made some connections with people. Because after doing that diversity marketing presentation, I realized that I really wanted to do more inclusive marketing. And so I reached out to like different foundations, marketing agencies, and also like brands that were deeply focused on inclusive marketing. I had like an inclusivity in general, like creating spaces for like Black and brown people. And so I made some traction on some things, but then it didn't really like go anywhere. Like I would like follow up with people, and then they would kind of just like ghost me, and that kept happening like repeatedly. So that was like really hard for me. So too, I was like having trouble sleeping, like, and it would get to the point where like I would cry myself to sleep, because I was like all this stuff is happening, like everything is just getting piled on me, like I just felt like I could not handle it. And I was really like calling out to God, like, please help me, because there's like so much going on. And like prior to this, I didn't really have like a deep relationship with God. But then when this happened, like I relied on him so much, and I still rely on him. Like I literally talk to him every day. Like even if I'm about to make the most mundane, simple decision, I'd be like, God, should I do this? Because I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm not, you know, making any hasty decisions about things. And so, yeah, I was having so much anxiety, like literally my anxiety was making me full that I had no room for anything. And also too, there would be times where I would be able to go to sleep for a little bit, but then when my alarm would go off in the morning and I actually had to get up out of bed, I was like, I didn't want that alarm to go off. I didn't want to be able to open my eyes. I did not want to wake up. Like, I don't want to face the shitstorm basically that is waiting for me. I got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I want to be on this earth anymore. Like, I never thought that I would say something like that or even think something like that. But it had gotten so bad that it got to that point. I've been talking so much. I need some water. I needed that. I started seeing a therapist because I just fell into such like a deep depression. I was like, I really need some help, because the way that I'm feeling, like I've never felt this way before. In this weird space of like, I felt hollow. I also felt like I was like in physical pain at the same time. Weirdest and scariest feeling that I have ever had. And the person I started seeing, she was really, really helpful. I just told her that, you know, basically all the things that were going on, like at my job, with my health and my finances. And I told her that I felt like I was just like free falling. I was trying to like find something to hold on to like keep me together. And I feel like when I try to hold on to something, it like would just break and I would just keep on falling. I like had a few sessions with her for like over the next few months. Just things at work were just getting worse. Also too, the performance review that I had, it got extended, and it was extended based off something, it was like honestly some BS. That just hurt me even more because I was just like, why? But I still had to, you know, like get up, get dressed, put my makeup on, and go walk out the door and go to work and pretend like everything was okay. When something has been wrong with me, I always hold it in. I just stuff it down, and so I don't have to deal with it. Because obviously, like, I don't want any one of my coworkers to know what's going on. And also too, I don't want my manager to like see me angry and see me upset. Because I wanted to give her like the satisfaction of that. I was just having to hold things in, and there would be times where I would be just at lunch with like some of my coworkers. Like I would be there, but I wasn't there. My mom, she had talked to one of her coworkers about what I had been going through. So my mom's coworker had brought up the idea of me doing FMLA, which I didn't know was really like a thing, like the family medical leave. But you could take for like any type of like medical reason. So at first I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it. Honestly, I was worried about getting my hopes up. I was worried about getting my hopes up that I could like take this leave to kind of get like a break from work, to kind of recalibrate myself and get back to neutral. I was afraid that I would like put in all this effort to try and do it, and it didn't work out. But I ended up still pursuing it, so I had to like get a note from my therapist and also from my doctor that I had, because also the doctor's office that I went to, they also had like mental health services as well. So I'd also done like an evaluation with them. I was able to get medical leave, which I was really surprised by because I was really scared that I wasn't gonna be able to get it. And so when it happened, I was so grateful, because I was able to, I got approved for it in November, and all the stuff in my job and like my health and finances, I kind of started like in July, August. So the medical leave lasted for about 2 months, from November to January. And so when I finally got approved for the medical leave, I was so grateful. Like when it happened, I like cried. I was like, thank you, God, thank you. Even with me like basically winning and being able to go on medical leave, I still didn't feel normal. Like still just with everything going on in my life, like I just didn't know how to go out and have fun and do stuff because I just felt so sad. Prior to going on medical leave, I had submitted vacation leave to be out for like a week in January, because my family, we went to Puerto Rico for like a little family vacation. That was like a really nice trip that I really needed after enduring like that war that I had gone through, like an emotional and physical war. Like I really needed that nice vacation. Me and my family had like such a good time in Puerto Rico. We did so many things. We ate a lot, we drank a lot, we did like some sightseeing and different things like that, and it was so wonderful. Like it was just a trip that I really needed. And I'm the type of person where if I'm like going through like a lot in my life, like if my life is not together, or if I've like made mistakes about something or something like that, I will feel like I don't deserve to have nice, happy moments. It's like, well, this is going on in your life. You don't deserve to just like sit down and relax. Like you need to be up. But obviously at this point, I was still trying to find a job, so I wouldn't have to go back to my current job. But yeah, I noticed that I, do that a lot, and I'm trying to work on that. Like if I make a mistake or just something in my life just isn't going right, like I'll, like the self-talk in my head, like I'll literally be like punishing myself. So there's also something I'm working on, like the negative self-talk. That's one of the things I've asked God to help me with. Closer to like the end of my vacation, I kind of made the decision that I wasn't going to go back to my job. I can't go back somewhere that was just so toxic for me and that really had me like wanting to take my own life. Like I never want to put myself back into a situation like that ever again. So I resigned from my job, and it was effective immediately. I didn't give it 2 weeks, which was scary, because I didn't have another job lined up. Not having a job was better than going back to that. And I don't know if that was the right decision, but I feel like that was the right decision for me at the time. Also too, while I had been on medical leave, I had gone home to see my family during the holidays. I had gone home back home to DC, and also I didn't have my work laptop with me. I purposefully left it in my apartment in California, because I just didn't want to think about none of that. And also too, because I had planned on returning back to California by a certain date, but then my flight got delayed. And then once I decided to resign, I just pushed my flight. I needed money to be able to like pay for like my groceries and like some of my bills and things. And so I was able to get more disability money from medical leave from the state of California. First I thought I was going to be able to get it because I was supposed to get it while I was on medical leave, but there was like some additional paperwork that I had to like fill out, and I didn't know that until I came back to California. So I filled out that paperwork and everything. I was able to get $10,000 to kind of help me with like bills and different things that I had, like my credit cards, because my credit card bills are like, my credit score is like, is terrible right now. Like, I got to a point where I ended up having to vacate my apartment. I had to break my lease to move out because I couldn't afford to stay there anymore. So my mom, she flew out to California to help me pack up my apartment and everything, and then we had all my stuff shipped back to DC. Did not end up moving back in with my parents. I ended up moving into my grandmother's condo, thankfully. I had another place to land that was not living with my parents. My grandmother is in assisted living because she has dementia, and so I moved all of my stuff into her condo. So I'm able to live here. It has been like an adjustment for me. My apartment in California, it was very like new, very modern. There was hardwood floors, like it was just very nice. It was super expensive, but it was just like such a nice apartment. And now the condo I'm in, I should be grateful because technically now me and my sister, we own this condo. Like our names are on the deed. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And it's a large, like it's a nice size condo. Like it's like a house, but it's a condo. It's a lot cheaper. Like the condo is paid off, so it's a lot cheaper than my last place. My last place was around like $2,700 a month. This condo, since it's paid off, all I had to do was pay the condo fee and like utilities and things. I'm just grateful that even through all these different things, like God has still been like providing for me. I'm still looking for a job. It's gotten to the point where now I really need some more funds again, so I might just have to get a hourly job just to kind of hold me over until I can get a full-time job. It's like I had in the back of my head that I might have to do that, but I was kind of like putting it off because it's like, I have a freaking college degree. Like, why do I have to go get an hourly job? I need to put my pride aside so I can be able to support myself. And having to move back here to DC, it did make me kind of sad because I was like, I didn't think that I would be unemployed this long. I thought I was going to have another job already. But I know that like when you make a plan, what's the phrase? Tell God your plans and he'll laugh or something like that. And so, just kind of thinking about it that way, I'm like, okay, even though I thought this was going to happen a certain way, like God is, I feel like it's leading me to something else, which kind of brings me to this YouTube video. Because since I had always been interested in fashion, I started posting on like TikTok and everything, like my outfit videos and stuff. I'll insert some clips on the screen. When I was going through all of the, you know, terrible times at work and just like when I was going through a lot of terrible life shit, I had stopped posting. Like thinking about trying to film a video was exhausting. But now I am restarting that passion. And so I've been posting on my TikTok again, and then also to starting YouTube again. And one of the reasons that I kind of like restarted this passion, on my TikTok, I have like a little over 5,000 followers. And I saw that if you have that, you're able to get into the TikTok shop creator, like affiliate creator program. So every time I would check, like I wouldn't see it on there. I would only see TikTok shop seller. Like I wouldn't see the TikTok shop creator. And so then one day I finally saw it and I was like, it's there. I was like, ooh, let me apply just to kind of see what happens. So I applied and I got in. So I'm now a part of the TikTok Shop Creator Program. Like I'm so grateful for that. So now I can get like a commission and everything if I'm like promoting a product that's in TikTok Shop. And then also when I got accepted to it, I was like, let me try something else too. So I looked into Amazon to see if I'm eligible to be to get an Amazon storefront. So I like look into that. I apply for that. I got that too. So now I have a storefront. So go to my storefront. I have so many things linked in there. So yeah, go check it out. Like literally all of my jewelry, like it's from Amazon. So when that happened, I was just like, okay, I'm trying to get like a job, but I'm getting more traction on this like content creator stuff, which is odd. I was like, God, what you doing up there? Like, what's going on? Another kind of thing that kind of solidified it was I wanted to start doing YouTube again. I already had like camera equipment, like cameras and batteries and things, but I needed a new tripod because the one that I had was broken. It's crazy like how things happen, like how things align. So my sister, she was engaged. She just got married in August. I had like a bridal shower for her, and my mom had bought like a tripod and all this different like equipment and like attachments and stuff. Basically have like a photo booth so people can like take pictures and stuff like on our iPad and things like that. Because of like time constraints and everything, like when we were like setting up for the shower, we ended up not being able to do it. And so my mom wasn't able to use like the equipment and everything. And so then she asked me like after the shower, she was like, do you want it? I was like, "You're giving it to me?" She was like, "Yeah, like I'm not gonna use this. You can have it if you want." Literally everything I needed. Like it came with a ring light. It came with a tripod. It even came with like a phone attachment. Like I could put my phone up on the tripod. It came with an attachment for my iPad. It even came with like a suction cup thing that I think I can use in my car as well. So I was like, okay. I got into TikTok Shop Creator. I now have an Amazon storefront and all this camera equipment that I needed to start doing YouTube again, and also that would be helpful for like my TikToks and stuff, just fell into my lap. I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're trying to do. Like, I know, I hear you. I understand. Because even too around that time, I hadn't really been posting on my TikTok because like I said, I had just been getting over like my depression. So I was just kind of like easing back into it. So there was a brand that that had worked with me before called Rep Dolls. They reached out to me to be like, hey, you're in the TikTok Shop Creator Program. We'd love to send you some pieces so you can like post about it on your TikTok. And so that had come through. And then I also got an email from PR rep from Anthropology saying that they wanted to gift me a couple of items to promote like fall like items and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'm getting these content creator opportunities. They weren't paid, they were gifted, but I'm getting like all this like traction with like content creator stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think God is telling me this is something I need to pursue again. And then like this fashion bug was like a natural thing that I had inside of me. And so kind of being able to express that like on social media, I feel like just feels very natural. And so I'm still working on like, you know, ramping up my videos and things like that to try and get more followers and everything. I still am looking for jobs because I need money to pay my bills. But I will say that I think I do want to be able to pursue content creation full time. Like I want to work up to that. So I say all that to say that we might not like the journey that God puts us on, but He will eventually turn the situation around for your good. Like there's always a purpose or like a silver lining that comes out of the pain that you experience. I feel like that's just like a part of life, just being able to kind of roll with like bad things that are happening. You just have to trust that God is even though God, He might be having you endure some pain, have to know that the pain is going to last forever, even though in the moment it definitely seems like it, because it felt like mine was never ending. We might be going through tough times, but He's not going to allow us to stay there. Like during this whole process, I have deepened my relationship with God, because I feel like before I didn't really have one, if I'm being honest. Like I had gotten baptized, I think when I was in high school, but like I was late getting baptized because for the longest time in my family we didn't go to church. But then when I was in high school I got baptized, and so but even during that time, like I still didn't feel like close to God. Like even when I would go to church, I would feel kind of weird when like people would be like bowing their heads praying, and like you could tell that they're like feeling things, but I feel like I wasn't feeling anything. And so maybe just at that time I wasn't really able to appreciate like the goodness of God and what He can do. But when my world was on fire, He showed up for me. I am so grateful for that. Like without Him and without my mother, I might not be here recording this video right now, and that's just the real. Like if you're having to like pivot at like 25, 29, 30, 35, 40, 50, life isn't going to be like this perfect plan. Like it's not going to happen that way. And that's something that I had always thought would be the case. Especially when I was younger, I'm like, when I graduate, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then this, and this, and then everything's going to be great. No, it did not happen that way. Even though my journey was not what I would have chosen, I still know that I needed to take that to kind of bring me to this point, to kind of bring me back to what my original passion was. Even though I don't have a job, it allowed me to kind of have a fresh start. Like, okay, the job that you probably shouldn't have taken and I gave you all these signs that you shouldn't have, that didn't work out now. So now you're able to kind of do something that you actually want to do. Another point to that is when God is giving you signs that maybe you shouldn't do something, listen to them. Because I got at least like 4 signs that I probably should not have taken that job at that beauty brand, but I did it anyway because I wanted to feel good about myself and I wanted to feel adequate, and I was tying my adequacy to a job, to a certain job, a certain place that I worked at. Your identity and how your self-worth shouldn't be tied to where you work. Like that should come from within, not from accolades or things that you get that's like material stuff. During this time I've had to really do a lot of like kind of introspection and kind of really evaluate what it is that I want out of life and the type of life that I want. And now I realize the type of life that I want. Like I can see it so clearly, and I know one of the ways I'm going to be able to get that is through doing content creation, through being a content creator. that's what this journey is going to be like on this channel. So I'm going to be doing some plus size fashion and curvy fashion videos because I am, you know, a plus size girl. I'm going to be doing maybe some beauty videos because I do like some beauty products. I'm not a beauty guru, but I know some different products and stuff that work good. You know, even just like some lifestyles, like even some like vlogs and stuff that I might do as well. Also some existential crisis chats, like things like this. If you're into all of that, please subscribe and also like this video and comment all the things. Like if you've ever experienced anything like this in your life where you're at a certain point where you're jobless, you're broke, you're having to pivot careers and things like that, like if you've ever experienced like that, comment down below and share it with me and other people who might find this video helpful. And that's it. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I did not talk your head off. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.